Well, good evening and welcome. Welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Oxchair, on the show this evening. It's GB, Bridgeman, and Jaffa, commonly known as Mo, Larry, and Curly. How we doing, gentlemen?
Evening, Ox. Evening, Bridge. Evening, Gary.
Good evening, all. I hope you are all well.
Okay, that's a huge good evening to you, Oxchair, and obviously a techie boys in the background, and to Gaz and Jaffa. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio.
That line with the juice went right over GB's head, Jaffa.
I think so, aye. I think so. Too young, but that's not a bad thing, is it, GB?
It's not, mate, but sometimes when the patter's running, I'm just kind of going, ho, 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 ho. And it's flying over the head, mate.
Ho, 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 we'll get you a gig of Santa Claus, mate.
Did you like it?
Yeah, and Ann Summers, of course.
Of course, mate. And double time, I hope.
Yes, always. How are you, Jaffa?
Very well, Box. Yep, not bad, mate. I'm looking forward to dissecting the weekend's game. No doubt we'll have lots to cover over the next couple of hours. So looking forward to the chat and hearing what the Bears have got to say.
I'm looking forward to the chat. I don't know where the first one. How are you, Bridgeman, the legend?
Excellent, pal. Thank you. Excellent. Feeling quite good. My team's doing not too bad, may I say. Another victory at the weekend. Very happy. Very happy.
Yeah, okay. Well, they heard from me yesterday, so I'll step back and you can have the floor, Jaffa. On you go. You go first. NGB and the Bridge can come in.
Well, it was a regular win, wasn't it, Ox? I don't think there was any. It wasn't a performance that got us all off our seat in any way, shape, or form. Took a wee bit of breaking down, but once we got our noses in front, I think we were always looked like the more likely out of the two teams. You know, these performances, these tactics, where we're sitting with 10 guys behind the ball or 11 guys behind the ball. It's difficult to break them down, Ox. But I do think we could have been. I think we could have been quicker in moving the ball around. I thought we fell into their trap. You know, they were all over us, and we just couldn't get. You know, we weren't moving it at pace. Partly down to, I have to say, the midfield choice. I don't think John Lundstrom, in my honest opinion, I think John Lundstrom would have been better playing at a 3 at the back yesterday, with Golson and Ben Davies, and allowing Tavernier and Barisic just to bomb up the park, because he was playing more like a central defender rather than a midfielder. Whereas Cantwell and Raskin were really quite industrious and want to push the ball forward at every opportunity. But it was a case of wrong passes again, wrong choices, in the first 40 odd minutes before we got the goal. But once the goal came, I felt the game was never in any danger anyway. But I think overall it was a well-deserved victory, wasn't it? And that's about the best I can say about it, Ox.
Probably wasn't easy. If it had been a boxing match, they'd have stopped it. But I take all that on board. I think that's fair, mate. I think you're very fair there. GB.
Aye, well put, Jaffa. I think like I says, there's no a lot we can really speak about the game. I mean, Ray Flowers turned up and the usual part of the bus, hoped to get to the kind of 70-minute mark and then just try and snick a goal or whatever. I mean, don't get me wrong, that one, my heart was in my mouth when that boy hit the shot for the halfway line. But again, Rangers, there wasn't many chances. I think the boy in goal for Ray Flowers, I think his name's McDonald. I think he had the game of his life as well. These guys seem to turn up against Rangers and have the games of their life. Same with that defender as well. But one thing, the positives for me yesterday was that Ridvan came on. The boy has got a shot on him, which is brilliant to have. Raskin had a shot on him yesterday as well, so he's shooting from outside the box. And Cantwell also had a shot from outside the box yesterday as well. Both our wingers, Borner and Tav, were constantly in the commentary. They were constantly hearing their name and stuff like that. So again, felt they two had a great game. And it was just, like I say, overall it was just a sticky game. But 3-0 win, we move on, and we're in the semi-finals and off to Hampden again.
Bridgeman.
Yeah, I can't disagree with Ed. Up to now, I think that in watching the game and watching how it unfolded, I think that we ended up playing, certainly by half time, I would imagine, we ended up playing against 8 men strung across the box and in 2 lines and 2 men in front of them. That's what we ended up playing against. And no matter what you do, it's very, very hard. No matter how the team, how low the team is, we've been there before for years. We've watched them doing it. And sometimes we've had to do it ourselves. But really and truly, that was the only way they were going to do it. And by the way, I have to say, congratulations to that guy. I had a dig from someone like 60 yards inside his own half, 10 yards, and leathered the ball. And, McGregor never even seen it coming. That's the truth. However, I digress a wee bit. I think we showed we're a far better team than what our folk think. But the problem will still be there. Whenever you try to do it, look how many corners we ended up getting and throw-ins down there. The guys blocked it, headed the ball out. I don't know how many times. Must have been 50 times that centre-half headed that ball out. That's not because we can't cross a ball. It's because he's played quite well and he's quite well within himself, and he doesn't have to move too far. He's only running 10 yards up and then back again. That's all he's doing. So what we need to do is, I have to say this, we need to draw them out a wee bit and then run the legs after them. Because that's when, as soon as they got to a point where their legs started to go, we started to get into the game, and we scored goals. Their heads went down, and that's all. To me, that's what happened. And plucky team. I'm not good taking anything away from you. Plucky team, and I think our third goal was an absolute breeze. An absolute fantastic goal, brilliant team game, and well scored by what's his name? I can't remember his second name. Scotty Arfield, guy. That was a brilliant goal, an absolutely brilliant goal, and it made my night. That made my night. I was delighted with the team and delighted with everything we tried to do. Obviously, there's parts in it where you think you've heard me going on a wee bit about it, but seriously, it was 3-0. That was 13. They would have cracked a light. That's how bad they were and how bad we were because we couldn't put the ball past them. Well won. Scottish Cup game at Ibrox. Brilliant.
We won easy, Jaffa, but the funny thing is, if that miraculous effort for that guy had been in, it might have added a bit of spice to the game, and we might have played at a better tempo and ended up scoring more goals, if that makes sense.
Aye, absolutely, Ox. And going back to what Gary was saying there, and even what Bridge was touching on, Wraith Rovers as a team, Ox, are actually are well known within the Championship as being one of the better teams that passes the ball, and they're actually very good at it. I have seen a couple of their highlight games throughout the season. For the life of me, Ox, and I know we've spoken about this on here, I don't understand why managers, and incidentally, he's a former Rangers player, Ian Murray, I don't know why they come in and set their tactics up like that. That team, the way they set up is not how they would play normally, week by week in the league championship. I know they're playing at Ibrox. I get all of that. It's a cup tie. Anything can happen. See if they'd went out and played a 4-2-3 win against us, or a 4-4-2, and actually had a go at us. What a difference the game. You just don't know, Ox. You have got no, because at the end of the day, the actual outcome of losing 3-0. Can it get any worse than that? If you get beat 5-1 but you make a game of it? Or as you say, if that goal at the start goes in, it could have made it a bit more spicy, it could have brought a bit more into the game. I don't for the life of me understand why teams why they would invite a team like Rangers onto the top of them and camp them in for 42 minutes until basically allow them chance after chance after chance until they get the breakthrough, and then go, wait a minute, we better do something about this. Let's try and open up a wee bit and play against them. I get man for man, player for player. We've got pace up front. But you just never know, Ox. You never know. I mean, the bit in the game yesterday that we moved the ball really quickly was the second goal. When Tavernier got the ball out wide, we spread it out wide to him. I can't remember who played it out to him. I suspect, I think it may have been Cantwell. Moved the ball through. They were starting to open up a wee bit. And Tav got the ball and he whipped the ball in first time into the box, and look what happened. We got an OG out of it. Going back to what Gary was saying about shooting, the box is so congested, Ox. I don't know why we don't pepper their goal more. We just hitting the ball, drilling it along the deck. With the amount of players that's in there, you don't know what's going to happen.
I don't disagree. I think if you shoot, it means that defenders are going to come out and try and block the shot, Jaffa.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't shoot, they'll just stay in the line and then they'll wait till you come on top of them before they have to move. It makes it quite easy, you just have to mix it up. And then you only have to shoot once and the defender will keep coming out and then there's spaces. But listen, we didn't pass the ball well on it. I don't think John Lundstrom played badly, but he tends to go deeper in that role, and we would have wanted them at least 10 yards forward so that Cantwell and Raskin could move more. But 3-0 GB, we move on.
Hi, Ox. I mean, that was the main thing. We wanted to win. I think the Hibs game, again, set the appetite for the Rangers fans as if we were going to go in there and smash Raith Rovers at home. You mean, and there was a bit of me hoping that was what was going to happen, but there was a kind of, the heat was saying to me, no, it's going to be a sticky game because Raith Rovers are going to park the bus, you mean? And like Jaffa's saying, it is disappointing in a sense, but I do understand it because they're looking, like I says, if they can just hold it and get the crowd against Rangers, then at the 60-minute mark, if they sneak a goal, then they're holding on to that for the rest of the game and stuff. But I would much rather see them come out and have a go man for man, because most of the teams that have been successful in the Scottish Cup, and this is the thing, is the Scottish Cup, so they've got nothing to lose. The game's done that day anyway, so I would like to see them just come out a bit more, and the teams that are usually successful, like the underdogs, is the ones that actually go out and give their all and attack every ball and press, and let's say they end up getting a lucky goal. But what ends up happening is it stifles our game. When we're running forward, we've probably got maybe 6 in the box trying to get that one pass through to get the goal, and eventually what really came down to it was the set pieces. I mean, the amount of set pieces
You must have been watching a different game for me, mate. If you thought we were getting 6 players in the box, I must have missed that.
No, well, I think at the times there was Tav in the box, Bornar, and I mean, Golson was up there at times, Ox. I mean, Golson nearly had a double. I mean, with the shot that they hit just wide. So, like I said, I think we had plenty of players. It's just trying to break that down. And, I mean, the only disappointing thing I would say, Ox, yesterday is we had 18 corners yesterday. And I think the way it worked out, we only scored for one of them. I mean, so Beale touched on it. Our set plays were really good before, and it's a thing that we need to improve on going forward, because that's Connor's header was first class. But says if we are playing in a game and we get 18 corners, I would hope that we're able to get more goals for that.
I think the complete opposite with GB there, Jeff. And I think some of the problem is that my centre forward was isolated against sometimes 3 defenders.
Yeah, because I agree with that, Ox. I mean, that was the case quite a lot yesterday. Cholak was actually coming deep as well and coming out of the box to try and get involved, because there was nothing happening in the box. Partly because they had 10 men behind the ball, and they were sitting right on their 18-yard line. But they've got to be more inventive in those cases, Ox. I mean, whether they, Bridge made a good point earlier on there, whether we draw them out and we basically sit with the ball back out, and basically ask them, invite them on to us so that we can, ping 35, 40-yard passes, which incidentally Ben Davies done a couple of times yesterday in the second half when they did open up. And it did make for, a better game, because it turns defence into attack almost instantly. But it was really, for the first 40 minutes, I mean, the play acting that was going on and the referee stopping the games and stuff like that was really infuriating, I have to say. I was going mental on occasions with some of the play acting, but you can't stop them from doing that, Ox. That's not up to, that's up to us to overcome that. But I felt the biggest issue yesterday was we didn't move the ball quickly enough. That was for me the biggest issue. Coming from the midfield, Cantwell and Raskin were definitely trying to, but Lundstrom he was as I said, and I'd agree with what you said, Ox. He didn't have a bad game, John Lundstram. He didn't have really anything to do apart from get involved and aid the ball forward to the front guys. Aye, cheap booking again.
He'll not learn these cheap bookings, will he?
No, and it's the fact that he gets caught, Ox, and I get he's rusty. He's not been playing for a few weeks and stuff like that. But yeah, he was certainly probably the weak link in the team yesterday. For me, he needs to up his tempo. And because he was playing, I don't know, at 25 mile an hour, and the guys round about him were trying to play the ball at 40 mile an hour. And when you do that, you kind of get the 1-2s going, and you don't get the runs, Ox. And that's what we weren't doing. We weren't running from deep. And you saw that almost immediately when Arfield came on. When Arfield came on, that was why we got the third goal, because Arfield does that run. He runs for the middle of the park, and I'm not even sure Cantwell was doing that yesterday. And Todd Cantwell's been quite decent at that.
Yeah, good point.
Pretty well, Dave. It's all right with you, chaps. We'll get Michael Beale's take on again yesterday. We'll have a quick discussion about that once it's finished, and then we'll get the phone lines opened, yeah?
Go for it.
Let's see if the road gaffer, Michael Beale.
Michael, what did you make of that today?
Well, we played 3 games this week, and we faced 3 different types of challenges. And today, Rafe tried to make the game really difficult by staying in. What did we have? 18 corners, 24 shots. I think when the first goal goes in from a corner, you're open, the game opens up a bit. It didn't. They stayed disciplined and to their task. So it made for a slow game. I think our third game in the week, I'd like us to be a little bit sharper in and around the box. I thought Borna Barisic put some fantastic crosses in today. He needs people to go in there and really challenge. But it was a slow game. There was a lot of niggly injuries in the game. And look, I'm just glad we're through to the semi-final. After the highs of Wednesday, we had to go through that one today, and the most important thing is a clean sheet, 3 goals, and we move on.
Yeah, how hard was it just to try and get into that rhythm in that type of game?
Well, yeah, because they were really deep, and I can't choose how the other team approached the game. We can only face the problems that are put in front of us. In midweek, Hibs come and tried to take us on head on and left spaces, and we were really ruthless. And Rafe tried a different tactic today of trying to be really compact in the game, and we still got into really good areas where I'm expecting us to do slightly better. But also, the way they played the game, we had to see it out professionally, and we did that in the end.
Yeah, how pleased, but
quite keen to the Stadiums Club, the Union Bears were in there. As you wanting a bit of atmosphere to help the team on, how much you wanting to see the Union Bears and the whole team get together and sort of listen to you after the sort of situation you faced today?
Yeah, I don't really know what's gone on there. I just felt with the crowd in the stadium today, there's a level of expectation. It was a slow game, and I think everyone was expecting us to be free-flowing like we were midweek, but styles make games, and I thought they stayed in and made it really difficult. At times they had 10 players in and around their 18-yard box, and they were blocking little things, and it's fine. We have to find a way to get through that. You saw Kilmarnock in the second half last week went really defensive as well after he was 3-0 up. It's fine. It makes for a sticky game. I think the really top teams who pay millions and millions for their players find their moments difficult. We'll go away and work on it and keep working behind the scenes. And in terms of the fans, it's a quarter-final. They expect a lot. And we played well in midweek. I know they were happy with that, and they'll be happy that they're going back to Hampden, I'm sure.
Michael, what would you like to see your team do differently then in that type of game where it is a bit sticky, when there is teams sitting in?
Need to pass and run a little bit more. We got into good areas, but when we get into good areas, we need people really running in the movement in the box. I like us to take more shots on from distance, because that might get people up to the ball. We tried a lot of those things today without being at our free-flowing best. I really wanted to give Nico and Todd the full 90 minutes, because I think it's important for them. It's their third game in a week. We had Borna and Connor on a booking away from a suspension in the competition, so we knew we had to bring them out at some point, and it was good for Ridvan and John to get on. I thought it was a game for Scott Arfield. It was just, when was I going to bring him? Once I saw the way the game was panning out, he's someone that he detaches himself from the play and just arrives in the box. He missed a chance. It was a good save, actually, just before he scored. So, yeah. Listen, it is what it is, and we have to just keep moving to the next one. The team at the moment is finding a way to win consistently, which is important.
Michael, reports in Spain suggest Alfredo's agreed a pre-contract with Sevilla. Has he intimated that to you at all?
No, he's trained all week. I just decided to go with the two forwards that played so well on Wednesday. So, no, we've not discussed it. I've not seen any change in him. Obviously, he's been free to speak to whichever club he likes for a good while now. We're into March, so he's had that, but we haven't spoke about it. And
would you hope, though, if he has agreed something and he plans to move elsewhere, he would sit down and discuss it with you rather than you find out sort of second hand down the line?
Yeah, but I'm not sure that's the case, and if it is, we'll find out in the coming days. My focus has been on the game.
Michael, you mentioned Nicholas Raskin and Todd Cantwell and giving them 90 minutes. Is it fair to say that, again, there's probably really good glimpses from both of them today, is it fair to say that it'll probably be next season before the Rangers fans really see them up to speed?
Well, I can't wait to Malik's back in, hopefully next weekend, which will add to that as well. It will give us another player similar to them that can combine. I think Ryan Kent's in good form. So we are starting to see, certainly on Wednesday night, when there's more space in the game and it's a more of an even game, you know, the spaces are there, we can be really, really dangerous. I think Tony's had a good week, a little bit tired today, to be honest, but I wanted to keep that same team together because it played so well in midweek. I think both of those guys are getting to know their teammates and they're getting to know the city and they're getting to know the league. I think two really big things for them because the home games they've played, we've had the most possession. But when we played away at Livingston, it was a tougher place to go and play, and they come out of that with thumbs up. And I thought they did really well midweek, to be honest, at Easter Road. I thought they really showed up well. And the team played with lots of rotation, and it looked like Rafe maybe had watched that and tried to stay close today, and they made it difficult for us.
Are you especially playing for the semi-final now?
Well, we're going to have to beat two teams to win the trophy. So, and that's our aim, to retain it. There's 10 league games left, hopefully 2 in the Scottish Cup. It's the last game of the season. It would be a fantastic way for us to end the season and go into next season with optimism for our fans. One thing I will say is I think it's fantastic for the competition that 2 teams from outside the top league have got there, because they've had to fight tooth and nail to get to that position, and they've earned it. So whatever 2 teams are in the hat with Celtic and ourselves, then we need to beat 2 teams to win the trophy.
Last one. Michael, how good was it to see Ridvan back today? He was always a statement signing in the summer. Is he someone that you think can contribute to that passing move you're talking about?
Yeah, well, he played 45 minutes on Tuesday, and then on Friday we brought the B team over and we played another 30 minutes, so it got him 75. He got another 30 today, so he's got good minutes in his legs this week. He's found this week challenging and difficult. So's John Suter as well, because obviously they've gone from hardly anything to getting quite significant minutes. And moving forward, we'll hopefully see him fully fit now, and he can start his Rangers career really, because obviously he's been stop-start. Borna Baratic's wife he's expecting in the next few days, so who knows? There might be an opportunity for him sooner rather than later to go in and start.
Well, thanks for that. Welcome back, gentlemen.
Yep.
Same order. Jaffa, he said some of the same things we were saying. Move the ball quicker, shoot, bring defenders up, more space.
Yeah, it's not that complicated, Ox. Football, I think sometimes it is overcomplicated. I think even when we did move the ball at pace, there just wasn't enough runners moving about in behind on the 18-yard box, Ox. There just wasn't enough 1-2s, and when we did do it, in fact, right at the start of the game, there was a good 1-2 with Tav on the edge of the box, I think with Cantwell, and he got right in and he had a good shot and goal. But that was literally the only time, other than the Scott Arfield move at the end of the game. Just not doing it enough, Fox. But when they do it, and we're very good at that, but it didn't happen enough. It's one of them. I think that was when the game, that part became really sticky and lethargic, and that suited them. Of course, that's what they were trying to do. But I go back to my main point, Ox. If these teams coming to Ibrox had just went out and played their football the way that they're taught to play football, because they're certainly not taught, and they're not training all week to play, 4-5-1s in their own league. They're playing 4-3-3s, and at the end of the day, they're playing in the second division or the championship division of our national competitions. So, they're decent pros, a lot of them, and there's a few young guys in the team that are up and coming. Big lad at the centre back that was playing for them, I thought had a decent game. he got his head on just about everything for 42 minutes that came into the box. I thought he'd done all right, but it would make for a lot better football to watch, Ox, that's for sure. And I know we've spoken about that on the show a few times. So that's my gripe.
I think it's up to us to do things better, GB, but he's right about the crosses for Borna. There were some good crosses put in. He's right that we controlled the match. We had all these set pieces, but we know we can do better. But we have to find a way to be consistent against this low block, as it's called now, GB.
It's becoming a bigger, but well, not so much a bigger trend. It's always been there. I think us as a team, Ox, especially going into next season, we're going to be coming up against this most weeks, and all these teams are looking to snatch a draw, really, aren't they? I mean, well, not so much in the cup, but like I say, in the league, they're either trying to get a point or they're trying to, like I say, make it hard and squeeze a win. And it's up to us. I think, like the manager says, we've got to be faster. We've got to shoot from outside the box, make players make mistakes in the box. Like, say, what Tav done. Tav put a cross in. The guy totally fluffed it and it went in the top corner. We need to ask more questions of these teams, because if they are going to sit in, then there's got to be pressure on them to be so compact. You know what I mean? So that eventually it will crack. It's just about them finding a way, Ox. And I think that is more that we get a settled team and a better understanding of relationships in the team. I think that will come. But a lot of the time it is easy to say, Ox, isn't it? I mean, when you're watching the telly and stuff like that, you can see a pass and stuff like that, but I don't know really what it's like on Ibrox Park when you're looking in front of that and you've got all these big guys in front of you and you're trying to find your man. I mean, it must be absolutely deflating sometimes as a classy football player. I mean, Cantwell must come up here already and go, oh, God, how do we deal with this every week? I mean, but I suppose that's what he's paid for. I mean, the manager will find a way though, because we've won 3 goals out of a sticky game. What we've got to be like when we're actually on it, Ox, like you say, is moving and passing fast. You mean?
Bridges, the boys say it's a simple game, but you've got to execute it to make it simple, yeah?
Yeah, it's not got to happen for you. It's got to happen right. I think the prime example was the 3-0 game of the weekend. So that was a good game, and we played really, really well. Again, same again against Kilmarnock, played very, very well. And we completely outclassed that team. I don't know what the stats were, and I dare say, well, maybe somebody can tell me what it. I would suggest it's somewhere like 85% Rangers. That's what I would say. But I have to say this about that team, and we don't like to say too many negative things about these small teams. They didn't have caused major problems for the wee Ryan Kent. We were booting them, pulling them back, and of course we've got the referee was cheating, beaten. So you're not going to get very much out of him. I tell you, it could have been a red card against Kent, that's for sure. Not for Kent, but against him. The 2 guys come in and one after the other taking shots at him, you know. It's really wrong, and pulling the arm. And Kent's free, inside his own half. The guy just comes over deliberately and pulls him back. I'm sorry, that's a red card. No matter what anybody says, that's a red card. For me, anyway, it's just a red card. I think that's what lowers the tone of the opposition's game. The opposition's came here to play, and as Jagger Gaz says, what they're looking for is a 1 goal, right? But they don't want to score too early, unless it was like that big shot at the start. But obviously, we take it at any time. But they want to get into the game, and they want to be able to, let's say, sneak a goal just before half time type thing. There's shall we say, key moments in the game, or key times in the game, when that's when they can build. They can do a build. They can't build for long times, you know. They can only build for 5 minutes in a game, and then they have to get back. They know they have to get back and defend, because Rangers will pummel them. So I believe sincerely that our manager sees it, but I don't. Right at this moment in time, I don't know what he's going to do about it. But he sees there's a big issue, and that team played like just about the same as 90% of the teams that ever play against us in the league. And that's the way they play against us, and that's what he needs to come up with a solution for that.
Okay, Let's hear your thoughts on it. Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
The strange thing about it is, Jaffer, on Wednesday night we were talking about the forward players. I actually thought my most consistent players of the piece was actually Ben Davies and Borna. And they didn't have a lot of defending today, but at least they were careful in their passing and their crossing was decent, mate.
They were, Ox, yeah, absolutely. And obviously Big Connor got the header and got the breakthrough. You know, it was a bullet header from him. But yeah, I thought some of the balls that Borna put into the box yesterday were absolutely exquisite. You know, and he done it repeatedly, you know, one after another. And, you know, those balls are strikers' dreams, and you've got to go and attack them. I mean, I know Fashion got his head on one or two of them. He got close to them because he's got a cracking leap on him. But I don't think that's Big Tony's game, is it? It's not Big Cholak's game. I don't think balls in the air are what he's all about. He wants the ball on the carpet. But I mean, listen, the players, the midfielders in particular, have got to anticipate stuff like that, and I'm afraid that's one of the things, Ox, has been evident throughout the season: anticipation and getting balls into the box. And you know, as your midfielders looking along that, especially the three guys in front, and Kent and Sakala, they've got to read the game and know that the amount of pressure that we've got at that end of the park and against their defenders, they've got to move around and give Borna options. You know, and it was quite decent yesterday as well. Tav and Borna were trying to vary the corners. At least you to try and draw them out, but there just wasn't a great deal going on in the box yesterday, was there? You know, listen, cut them a wee bit of slack, and I will cut them a bit of slack. They had two very big centre backs who obviously enjoy heading the ball, and that's part of the way Raith Rovers play football, and I get that, and I totally understand that. It does then beg the question why we want to pummel balls into the box if that's what they're good at. You know, I just sometimes I wonder what we're chatting about, Ox, in the dressing rooms. I really do.
Aye, fair comments, mate. We can be smarter, we can be more aggressive, and I don't mean that in a physical sort of way. It's different runs, GB. You need to be more positive with your runs, and sometimes this is only my point of view. When it's like that, I think somebody's got to go in and mark one of the centre halves. Because you're not going to be under pressure when all the boys... There's no breakaway on the way that game was yesterday.
No. And to be fair, Ox, I mean, like I said, Golson was up there and stuff like that, hitting shots. I mean, sometimes he was playing like a striker. No, to be honest, Ox, maybe we were missing Tillman yesterday. I mean, a boy that can grab the ball and do damage with his feet. I mean, it was... A lot of our players, they need to have that bit of pizzazz about them in the box. They need to dribble with it. They need to keep it close. And I mean, I think Cantwell does it really well in the box, but Cantwell yesterday, again, was deep and getting the ball and out wide and all the rest. Sometimes I don't know, manager needs to kind of, and it's no Cantwell's fault. Cantwell's in there gaining 110% for that team yesterday, and again, he's playing for the team, especially with that pass to Scotty Arfield, and there's no criticism coming Cantwell's way. It's just, I think sometimes, like I said, when we've got a player like that can keep the ball close to his feet, he's the one that will be able to go in the box and create damage. Same with a guy like Tillman. Fashion to a certain extent. I was surprised how much he never got the ball.
He had a mare.
I thought he would cause. Now we always say Fashion teams can't understand what he's got to do, and that's kind of thing. Where yesterday it just didn't seem to create that chaos in the box yesterday. So maybe an off game for Fashion and that. But again, I think what I say is there's a few of the players they just need to get that kind of the dribbling going and make the defender make the mistake. I felt Tav done well yesterday. He was in the box quite a few times yesterday, and it looked back to that kind of that up front winger again. I mean, the shot off the post, and then he had another shot saved as well. Honestly, I think just yesterday we did try. We just got
I don't think anybody's faulted their attitude, Jeff, for it.
No, not at all, Ox. No. I don't think there was any. There was nobody in the team that didn't actually try and put the energy levels in. I just felt it was. It all seemed to be in vain. A lot of it. They seemed to be making the wrong decisions. At times when and as we said at the start of the show, there, the speed, and the tempo that the ball was getting moved about, I don't think helped. I think that played into Raith Rovers' hands for about the first 5, maybe 10, 12 minutes. We were at them, we were well on them, and we had them turning, and we were turning them inside out. But we stopped doing it again, Ox. We kind of, once they got by that 10 or 12 minute mark, they thought, we're out. We've not lost an early goal. I understand that, but Rangers have got to be more inventive, and I think. The thing that we didn't do yesterday that frustrated me quite a bit was see the rotation that he'd been using up in the front three. I don't think we'd done any of that yesterday, Ox. Nobody was switching, nobody was moving. Fashion wasn't going up front, confusing the back line. Whereas against Hibs in midweek, and as Bridge alluded to there against Kilmarnock the week before, we done that quite well. We interchanged really well, but we kind of lost our way a wee bit yesterday. And listen, look. I understand as well, going back to the tactics that Raith Rovers are playing a 4-5-1. That doesn't help the situation, and it doesn't help for a good game of football. This part on the bus is it's now widely known, and I even think about us, Ox. And I was sitting yesterday, and I'm going, some of the teams that we play, what are deemed to be bigger ties for us. So, for example, this season, probably one of the biggest away games that we played was against PSV in the Champions League. We went over there. We still played a 4-2-3-1 against PSV at home. Kent, Tillman and Lawrence played up front. Kamara and Lundstrom were playing the sitting two, and Big Cholak was up front. We still played a 4-2-3-1, and I think you get out of the game, and that proves my point. You get out of the game what you put into it. If you're going to go and try and sit back and put 9-10 guys behind the ball, I think it's inevitable you're eventually going to lose a goal at some point.
Most of the time, mate. Most of the time, and then when the tired legs creep in, Bridgeman, you seen that yesterday with the own goal, which was a classic own goal, wasn't it? A cracker. You'd have been proud of that one.
Actually, the best cross along the ground, a low cross. Tavernier, I think it took it. Levered it in. There's no chance. The chap with no chance. If he goes for that ball, there's a high probability it's going in the net. Or maybe a lower one. If it hits the top of his foot, it might go over the bar. But seriously, he had no chance with it. And he can't help it. Your instinct when the ball's coming to you, you tend to go for it. And he scored it well. That's all I can say.
Oh, it was a great finish. It wasn't like corners during the week, GB, was it? It was for big 12.
No. That was a Lionel Messi finish yesterday, and it was a blind shot as well. The boy didn't even have to look; he just smashed it right in the top corner. But Ox, that's what I was surprised at yesterday as well. That they never they took ages to tire. I was expecting them around about the 60-minute mark to actually the legs to start flowing off of them.
But they moved, GB.
I know
they moved.
You stay in your own half, you don't travel very far.
I think if you stay in you're in 20 yards.
Yeah, I mean the two lines didn't need to come too far. They maybe come up to the 18-yard line, and then obviously have to fall back because Rangers are still punishing them pace wise and possession wise. But in the second half, they must have thought we can do something here. Or we need to go out and score a goal. And as soon as these kind of things happen, then you're going to have to travel 40 yards, 50 yards, even 60 yards. Sometimes you make some chances for yourself, but invariably against a team like Rangers, they're going to take the ball off you and run out of park, and you don't have the legs to get back. You just don't have it. And we saw that last night.
Okay. I thought in Wednesday night we would do 7-8s. 8.5 even. I thought yesterday we were 5.5, 6s. Maybe the couple of 6.5s out there. Bonner and Ben Davis. Without playing, even I think Cantwell and Raskin showed enough at times, and obviously great that they got their minutes. So it's different tests for them, and I think they'll benefit. They're learning about how you have to play in Scottish football. But what did please me yesterday, Jaffa, when Cantwell got involved, his mucker was right in there to help him. Did you notice that?
He was. I did notice that a couple of that challenge in particular, Ox. Having absolutely none of it, and that's what you want, and that's great for camaraderie, especially in the camp, Ox. And incidentally, as I'm sure we all played football, you expect nothing less for your teammates. There's nothing worse when nobody backs you up. And I thought Todd Cantwell, I thought his response was pretty decent, I have to say. He wasn't going to lie down to them, and that's for sure. But no, it's good when you see that. I do like to see that in my team, Ox, and I like to see nothing better than a Rangers team. It is exactly what we stand for as a club. It is and always will be no surrender for me.
1-0.
100%.
Okay, right. Yeah, just go through you three. Man of the match for you yesterday, Bridge.
I thought Cantwell just stole it off everybody else. But I think I like Ryan Kent, and I thought his contribution was great. But he was a man that got fouled probably the most fouled player in Britain at the moment. But I thought Cantwell just stole it last night.
GP.
He doesn't get it too often, Ox. I can't remember the last time he got one, but I would have gave it to Borna Barisic yesterday. I think the big man had a great game, and he, like Jaffa touched on, he was doing varying crosses yesterday, and he hit that corner pinpoint on Connor Golson's head yesterday. So, aye, Borna Barisic yesterday for me, mate.
All right, Jaffa.
Same as GB, Borna for me, Ox. I thought his crossing yesterday was absolutely exquisite. Especially for the wings, and he done it, and the regularity, he could almost do it with his eyes shut. He's brilliant at it.
Okay, all right. I wouldn't disagree with that. Listen, I think we're setting high standards, and we didn't quite get there yesterday. Maybe due. Let's give credit to the opposition, the way they dug in, and the boy line. Oh, so many headers he made yesterday. He must have made about 20 headers, Jaffa.
Yeah, and apparently we're looking for a big centre back, aren't we?
No, please. Oh, please no. But
it's got to start somewhere.
No, I'm saying I credit both.
He beat me, he was with us, you know that, Jaffa, yeah?
I do, aye. He was with us as a lad, wasn't he?
Aye.
Credit to them.
Aye, credit. Come and join us. Give us your thoughts. 01413561972. How do we play the low block consistently? Because if you get the second goal, Jaffa, heads go down, energy levels drop, the game becomes easier again.
I think it's tempo, Ox. I think it's nothing more than movement and tempo. And when you've got that low block, you've got your three. In our case, Lundstrom was still hanging back, but Raskin was pushing onto the front three: Sakala, Cantwell, and Kent, and Cholak. So you've got four, and then the two wing backs, Tavernier and Borna, pinging the balls in. You've got more than half your team up in their end of the park. It's got to be down to 1-2s. It's 1-2s that always break the safe, isn't it? For me, that's what always gets you in through the back door. It's the 1-2s and the movement. And when we have been really successful at that, it's always usually been when we've been away from home in Europe or the bigger games. And I think we should learn from that when we're playing these teams with a low block. For me, I think it's always 1-2s, Ox.
GP.
I think Michael Beale needs to make Scotty Arfield a coach, and he'll coach them how to break the low block, because Scotty Arfield, for some reason, is able to break the lines all the time against these kind of teams that sit in and stuff like this. He always seems to find the space, the big man. I mean, and yesterday, again, popped up out of nowhere. Cantwell was in the box, and the next minute there's Scotty Arfield sitting there with nobody round about him, and he squared it for him and put it away. I mean, and Scotty Arfield, he seems to do it well, and hopefully he can pass it on to them through the training ground. But as Jaffa says, it's the one. It was like the Hibs, the goal we scored against Hibs, the fourth goal the other night there. It was 1, 2, 3, 4 passes and bang in the back of the net, and that was in that tight, congested box. So it's just down to that. It's just down to timing. I think yesterday we're probably a wee bit off it, and I think, like I says, we've got Tillman coming back. Boy's brilliant with the ball at the feet. We've got Cantwell in there already doing it, and like I says, the rest of the players are just needing fed. I mean, then that will come.
How good to see John Suter, Hadji, and Ridvan getting minutes. Bridgevan,
Aye. Actually, it was nice to see them. I look forward to seeing Rangers players. Suter actually looked not too bad last night. Slightly off pace, but it looked not too bad. Well, Hadji, we know it's a long road for the boy, a long road. But if he's in among the players and gets 10 minutes now and again for a couple of weeks, you might see a wee bit more strength in his legs. And that young boy at left back, I thought he came on okay. There was absolutely no challenge for him, but he looked quite good. He strolled up with the ball at his feet, had a lovely shot. These things that do matter. I thought they did very well, and it was nice to see them. But what we are saying about how do you break them down? There's only 2 ways you can break them down. You've got to play wide, which is a lot of people's favourite. Get somebody out wide, or keep your 2 men wide, and smash the ball into the middle. Smash it low into the middle. Anything could happen with there. And obviously your centre forward or your striker or someone has to be in there. So like an Arfield or something, he has to be in there for the pick ending up. But that's the order you're going to play through. If you're going to play lovely wee passes through, you need to be really good at it and don't give the ball away.
Jaffa, Ridvan, obviously big shooter than Hadji. Ridvan covers the ground quite well. We've seen that in his games before. But the jury's still out. Same with Big Shooter, who yesterday shows that he's got a range of passing. That he's seen even, the cup tie was finished when he came on, but let's him get fitter and fitter and fitter, and then we can maybe judge him. And Hadji came on yesterday, got involved, and fair play to him. And I think it's next season for Giannis. Before he gets to full fitness, there was a major surgery, but good to see the 3 boys getting minutes, Jaffa.
It's all about attitude with these guys, isn't it, Ox? It's where they've come from, because they've all had bad injuries and they've been out for most of the season. So, they're all it's a bit, there's 10 games left in the league campaign and the Scottish Cup. So they've got to aim. I mean, in the case with Giannis Hadji, I know he puts in a power of work, and I suspect the other 2 lads do as well, without excluding them there. Ridvan does look a player, Ox. There's no 2 ways about it. Hadji yesterday, I liked the movement of his feet at the goal. He was instrumental in the play. He got the ball. He kind of turned the ball and flicked it inside himself to get the ball to Cantwell, who obviously was doing motoring on into the box and squared it to Scotty Arfield. And Big Suter, as you said, Ox. And listen, John Suter on his day when he was playing for Hearts last year looked a decent player. There's no 2 ways about it. But it's getting him fit in it and keeping him fit in his case and all of their cases. But it doesn't do any harm, Ox. And I mean, 10 games left of the season. There's still a few months left. I don't think any of these guys will be going away and having a lazy summer holiday. I still think they'll be working throughout the summer to build their fitness up. But it's great, Ox, to see the 3 of them back and see that injury list just easing a wee bit more as well. All right, I know we had a wee bit more bad news in that respect this week as well. We came our roof out for the rest of the season, but that didn't come as a great surprise, did it, to any of us?
No. What did come as a surprise was he's had a long-term hip injury, and you wonder if sometimes the injury's been coming through that, Jaffa.
100%, Ox. It was my first thought, especially he was getting a lot of calf problems, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. Compensate. You know what it's like when I told you to move your wallet, or sorry.
Oh,
I don't know if I actually move it or open it, but I can't remember.
What's a shocker?
Bridge, once I saw that hotel, I wasn't opening any wallet. I was moving.
Jaffa, it's too heavy to move into it.
And that speaks a voice of experience there, by the way.
What he done was GB used it for a pillar on the sunbed.
All the soft notes in it.
Oh, brilliant.
I actually thought about that, Jaffa. Seriously, not seriously. I wonder if that's the root cause, you know? No, the shoulder. We can't blame the shoulder one, but all the other bits and pieces, you never know, mate. Eh?
Well, that part of the body, Ox, the back of the legs, the hamstrings, the calf muscles. I mean, if you've ever suffered yourself, if you've ever had sciatica, you know, you've trapped a nerve in your back or the bottom area of your back, you know it's always the bottom end of your legs where you get the excruciating pain. So, Ox, it wouldn't surprise me, not that I'm diagnosing, Kemar Roof in any way, shape or form, but it certainly, I would be astonished if it isn't linked, Ox, put it that way from a medical point of view. I mean, and to have a hip operation as well it's a big op, Ox. That's a big worry for Kemar Roof, because he's still, in playing terms, he's still quite a young guy. He's he was certainly
a hip replacement or anything like that, Jaffa. No.
But he's had a hip operation. He's not had a hip replacement or anything, but he's had a hip operation. Is all it's been revealed, Ox. I don't know any more than that, but and he's out for the rest of the season. So, but listen, you've got to wish the lad well, and if they do get to the bottom of it, then fair enough and great for him.
Oh, well, but it might be putting two and two together, come up with 5, but we'll see. We'll see. But what was your thoughts on the 3 boys, the injured boys? We've seen a bit more of them, and obviously the squads and getting stronger as they come back. GB.
It's going to be interesting. The Ridvan one, Suter, I think that says will just take time, and he probably will be a really good backup for us in defence. I just hope that we get the chance to play him when he's proper side, Ox. I don't want him being a kind of filler for Ben Davies. I think we still need to get a look at that side getting covered, you know what I mean, in the summer. But like touching on Ridvan, he's going to be really good going forward, Ox. The bit that I'm kind of a wee bit concerned is the defensive side. Like in our league, it is set plays that kind of undo us a lot of the time, and we've got a big guy like Borner in our defence, and still sometimes Borner's caught sleeping. And
how many headers does Borner win?
I know that's what I'm saying. Ox, what's it?
I know no one any less headers than Borner win. I know the difference in size is quite large, but
but that's what I'm saying. Like, are we going to? I really hope that we look at that. You mean that if he's got to come in and be our kind of left-sided defender, it is a kind of cause for concern in our league, Ox. But again, the boy's not got to where he's got to for being rubbish. I mean, he's clearly got a bit of defensive duties built into him. You mean, but it's the going forward, I've got no worries at all. I think actually going forward, he'll be a mere attacking threat than what Borner is. As much as Borner's crossing is amazing, I think you'll see Ridvan in the box more doing the kind of what Jaffa's talking about, the 1-2s. You know what I mean? Because yesterday he was showing flashes of that yesterday as well, and the shot off the bar. I mean, I think the commentary said that he meant that. I honestly think he did mean that. I think you see the goalkeeper off his line.
If he meant that, we should have stopped again then and sold him.
But I think he's got that in him, Ox. He's got that flair in him, and that's what we've seen flashes with him before he got injured. That he can get in the box, square it, hit shots and stuff like that. So I don't think he's fear to that. I just don't think we've had a chance yet to see how well the boy can defend yet, because yesterday it was a dominant performance for us, and it will be interesting to see him and Suter how they're going to handle the pressure in Aberdeen or something like that. You know what I mean? Saying that, the way they're playing now, I don't think we need to worry too much, but a tougher opposition, Ox. It'll be interesting to see how the defensive side holds up.
Just getting their minutes under the belt. I don't think he meant that yesterday, Jaffa.
No, I don't think he did either. As you said, he would have won the man of the match just for that alone, Ox. So no, but listen, he's a player. He's definitely got ability, Ox. There's no two ways about it. It'd be great to see him fit, and it'd be great to see him with 10 or 12 games under his belt. But going back to your main point there earlier, that's probably not going to be until next season. Yeah, we're probably going to run out of games. But all being well, he certainly can contribute, and he's got the attacking part of his game, I don't think will be under any question. And I think the biggest attribute he's got is his pace. And that is somewhere where we do get turned over in the left-hand side now with Borna. Borna has got a tendency to go to sleep a wee bit, especially the ball over the top when we're pushing up so high up. And I think Ridvan's got that turn of pace in him, Ox, where he can get back, because he almost kind of glides over the ground a wee bit, doesn't he? He's got a great way of moving. He's very he's almost pirouetting sometimes as well. His movement's quite good.
Pirouetting?
Aye. When he turns,
what does that mean?
You see that dude outside the dancing in Glasgow Bridge down Sauchiehall Street. When you pirouette with a kebab, surely you've pirouetted with a kebab in your time.
I'm just going for a wee pirouette. I like that. What's that for me?
When Bridge went for a wee doner, it meant something completely different from you, Jaffa.
There's a lot of truth in that. Yeah, a lot of truth in that. A wee doner, right? Oh, boy.
Okay, can I just say before we go to the tune, we have still a few tickets left. And there's a few for the night out in Ardney Street closing party on Saturday the 25th of March. It's a dinner with us, and we'll also be joined by the speakers of Derek Johnston, Mark Hazley, and it'll be chaired by Gordon Smith, three great Rangers legends. And we're hoping to have a good night, get together, bit of a question and answers, and then a social evening. Will be a 4-course meal as well, so the tickets are placed at £40 each, and there's still a few left. If you want to come along in the evening, contact RangersRadio@gmail.com. And it's still all shaping up to be a good evening, Jaffa.
Oh, can't wait, Ox. I'm looking forward to it. Be a great night. As you say, three great Rangers players, ex-Rangers players, and Big Haley and Derek Johnson and Gordon Smith, who I'm sure will hold court very well, and they're a great storyteller. So I can't wait to hear the stories and hear the questions for the audience. Be good.
You know me, Jaffa, I'm no one for spreading rumours. However, I've been told if you bring your Super 6 lines for the year and you can prove you put it on, Southside will reimburse everybody.
I hope he's got somebody's wallet with him then.
Yours.
He'll need more than mine. He'll need yours, I know.
Oh. Right, okay, Bridge, GB, we've reached that time here and we're going to have a tune. Hopefully people will call in and give us their thoughts on Sunday's performance. Let's have a tune.
Follow
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Listen, we give you criticism sometimes when it's due, sometimes when it's not due. Passions run high. Just want to look at the manager. After the game, he seems to have a handle on things. He says all the right things and he sums it up pretty fairly, I think. GB.
Yeah, Ox, totally agree. I think he is getting hot with a lot of interviews. I mean, he's interviewing that Via play as well. It was really good yesterday. They pressed him on the Alfredo side of things and how he set up for the game and how, like, asking questions about what can you do better and stuff like that. So he's done really well for being so new to the game. I know obviously he's probably learned a lot for Stevie G when he was there, but he is making it. He is his own man now, and he's handled most of the press conferences really well. I think I touched on it way back at the start that I was a wee bit concerned about how open he was, and I think as the months have went on, Ox, I think he's kind of gradually learning what to say at the right times and what not to say. I think there was probably a lot. Sometimes he was getting away too much, and it's not anything that he was doing wrong. It's just sometimes, like we all know, the press takes something and run with it, and I think he's learned with that.
Yeah, he had obviously they tried to draw him in the Union Bears thing, Jaffa, and they rightly sidestepped it. That's not his call, is it?
No, and that isn't his call. He doesn't need to answer those kind of questions. But I mean, for their perspective, they're probably right to answer it. They've got him, they've got him where they want him. He's got a mic under his nose, and I totally agree with GB. I think he has. I think he seems to be taking a wee pause, just thinking about the question before he dives in with the answer, and probably just keeping it to the football, Ox, which is all we're asking for him to do. It's not for him to just. That's his job. He's a manager of the football team, and that's his responsibility, and that's his remit to put the team on the park and win matches. And when that doesn't happen, then fine, fair enough. He's due for some criticism. I think he's the first one himself to hold his hands up when he gets it wrong. And I don't think I think that's a good strength, and it's a good quality to have that, because you're always learning. We're always learning. Michael Beale's in a big job. He knows that. He's going to need a lot of support behind him. But I agree. He's some of the questions. He's the one with Alfredo yesterday that got asked about him signing. Supposedly signing a contract with Sevilla. He just said it was the first he'd heard about it. And I don't disbelieve him. I've got no reason to disbelieve him that he's not telling the truth there. But he said it'll come out in the next coming days, and he'll get a chance to talk to him. And if it's the case, then so be it. He's free to talk to other clubs, and that's true. He is. He's been free to talk to clubs since January. So what are we in now? March. How is that really news? Is it really relevant that Alfredo's potentially talking to another club? His agent will have been doing that last year sometime.
Constantly, mate. Constantly. That's his agent's job, isn't it?
Yes, 100%.
Bridge, what's your take on Beale? He's candour with the press and how he sums up the game.
Yeah, I'm quite well. We knew it was like a wee bit that when he was with Gerrard, but you can see he's starting to blossom himself. He's no scared to say things. He's very structured when he was speaking yesterday, and that's a big improvement from where he was at the very start of his career. Not that he was bad as a Rangers manager, but look at him now. He's able to handle the press as nicely as you could ever imagine. And the only thing I would say against him in this sense is that as soon as that guy said reports were out, they should have just told him, no, I don't make any comments on reports. So forget it, and that is it, done. Because that guy was just obviously fishing, as we know, and if he took any debate at all, then he would have another big story, and we wouldn't be talking about the game and Rangers winning 3-0. They wouldn't be talking anything like that. They'd be talking about Michael Beale says that crap, all that nonsense. So I'd like him to just nip it in the bud. I don't report or I don't comment on reports about anything like that. Nothing like that. Done. That's what I would like to see. I don't know about yourself. I'm really impressed with the guy. I'm very hopeful that he's going to take us through to the end of the season, unbeaten to now to the end of the season. That's what I want to see, and that will mean we're going to win the Scottish Cup. Well, obviously, we'll not know until later on tonight. I think it is by the time the draw comes in. So I don't know who we're going to get.
Well, it's going to be either them, Inverness, Cali, and as we sit at the moment, what we got? After 60 minutes, Ayr United are 1-1 Bridge.
I'll take Ayr United then. They'll do for me. I just want us to get to a final. I really do desperately want us to get a final. And I don't care who we play in the final, but ideally, I'd like to play them in the final and get revenge.
So,
but if it just so happens to know them, that'd be delightful as well.
Well, obviously, if we don't draw them in the semi, there'll be strong odds on for the repeat in the League Cup final, Jaffa. Yeah.
Yeah. Bring it on. I'll either have them in the semis or the final. I'm not too fussed what one I get them in. As Bridge says, if we win the two remaining games of the cup, we win the cup, and that's all that matters. And I sincerely hope that every single player in the dressing room feels the same way, Ox, and revenge is right at the top of the list, and that they don't see that happening again at Hampden. But we've still got them another two games as well in the league, which would be. Is going back to Bridges' point, I think it's a really valid point and a brilliant point. If he goes now, Michael Beale goes now to the end of the season unbeaten, then I'm not saying we're going to win the league. That's of course a strong outsider that ain't going to happen. But it means that we'll beat them twice, and we would beat them in the cup final or the semis. So for me, that would be revenge. That would be that'll keep some of the Bears happy. I'm not saying it'll keep all of them happy, but it'll keep some of the Bears happy.
No, Michael Beale can only do what he can do, yeah. Along with the squad, and obviously we'll judge him. But if we judge him or we judge the season, there'll be slightly different things, GB, yeah.
Aye, Ox, I mean, obviously coming the end of the season, we'll look at his kind of his half a season that he's had with the team, and he'll be judged on that. And to be fair, I think everything he's done so far has been really good for the build up to next season. I think this is bringing in Raskin and Cantwell. I think getting this 6 months under a belt, it's got to be fantastic for them going into next season. I think that game yesterday, like you touched on, Ox, it's going to be brilliant for the two boys getting an understanding of the rough and tumble our game up here, and again the Buffalo side of things, the speculation. I think the manager's got to probably know the answer on that, and I think he'll be keeping that. I don't think he'll be throwing like Alfie under the bus or anything like that, be coming out and saying or confirming or denying it. I think he'll just keep Alfie in the squad, thinking at the end of the season, and what will be, to be honest. And that's how, again, that's the sign of a good manager. No creating the headlines, just going about quietly, going about your business.
Aye, we'll see. I think we've been in this relationship with Alfie, and for a lot of us, maybe the game at Paisley Jaffa was we fell out of love with Alfie, yeah. We had bus-stops with him, and we still loved him, and then the game at Paisley, we fell out of love, and I don't know if we've ever fell back in with him. We might have started liking him, but I don't know if we ever fell back in love with him.
No, I think that's a fair point, Ox. I think there's been, we've tolerated a lot of the stuff that's happened with Alfie coming back late. Even under Gerrard, they done it. I thought it was unprofessional, Ox, if the truth be told, at the kind of level he's at as a professional footballer, not contacting the club and stuff like that. I thought it was poor. Things like that really kind of made me, I question the wee guys, where he was and where he wanted to be. Because after all, Ox, he came to us, from Icelandic football, and he was where was it, Ox, we got him from? Finland, Finnish football. He came to us from Finnish football. He was unknown, and I maintain this, Ox, and I've said this before in the case of Alfredo, and I wish no harm on him. I do agree with you from a football point of view. I think I think for a lot of us, and I can only speak for myself, that his race is run with us, and not for 1 minute do I believe, if the reports are true, that he asked for 45k a week. I think that's staggering. If anybody's even prepared to give him close to that, Ox, good luck to him. I don't even think he's worth a quarter of that, quite frankly. And I don't think he's been playing at that kind of level. He's not fit enough to merit a contract at that level. So if he's got a team and his agents managed to wangle a contract of that kind of magnitude at a Spanish, first division team, then good luck to him. Well done, his agent. His agent's done a great job. I happen to think otherwise, Ox. I don't think he's getting anywhere close to that. And my final point on it is Alfredo Morelos will never play for another club as big as Glasgow Rangers, and that's a fact.
I think his overall package could be up there, Jaffa, because obviously going in a free, you're going to get a bigger signing on fee, mate. Eh?
Possibly, Ox. I mean, it depends who's looking at him. It depends what this particular team, if he's signed for Sevilla, what they think of him. I mean, they've got not a bad team themselves, Ox. I know they're fighting a relegation battle, potentially could get relegated, but yeah, I don't know, Ox. I mean, Spanish football, yeah, it's much wealthier league than Scottish football. I'm not saying for a minute it's not, but if he's getting 40 grand a week, I wish his agent was negotiating our contracts here at Rangers Radio.
Probably a massive percentage increase, mate.
Very good. That's a good one.
GB's trying to work it out.
Well, much is that working out?
He started with nothing.
Making a big percentage increase or nothing.
But Jaffa, you're right, mate. I mean, even the contract he's on at Rangers now, he's no worth the contract he's on at Rangers. And I think if Alfie is moving on and we're recouping what's reported about 30 grand a week, then I'm sure, in fact, I'm positive with the players that Beale's just brought in January, that he can reinvest that 30 grand a week in somebody that's hungry, eager for goals, and is going to improve our team the way that he's wanting to go forward with. I honestly think it's best for both parties that both move on for it. I think Buffalo needs to move to another club to restart his career, and I think Rangers need to move on to reinvest that money into somebody that's maybe younger and hungrier.
The Bridgeman, I mean, it is sometimes Ockham will be happy to recoup the wages, stop paying out the wages and use that to bring in and refresh the squad. Alfie's been great for us. We've been great for Alfie, but sometimes you've got to move on, both parties, mate. Eh?
Yeah, I think we'll be on that one before, but personally speaking, I'm still a big fan of Alfie, but the Alfie that took us to UEFA, up to through the finals of UEFA Cup, things like that. That guy did amazing stuff for us, and I'm so proud of him, and I'm sure he is so proud of playing for Rangers as well. It's just great to, great to remember him, and what a dynamo, shall I say, for the Rangers. When he was taking on defences, defenders on his own, 2 and 3, I mean, the ragdolling him, scoring goals. No scared to have a shot at goals, and just leather in the ball. It was all coming off him. I'd love to see that guy back. That's what I would like to see. However, I'm under no illusion. We can't afford to try and keep Morelos. Based on the reported salary he's on, we're back to that word reported. The supposed salary of 30 grand. Sorry, 30 bob maybe a week. 30 bob a week is what I was at the best I would pay for him and that for him. No way, keep him. No.
I'll tell you what he's also done. He's made it easy. He's made it easy because if Alfred had been playing like Alfie was 2-3 years ago, Jaffa, scoring regular, man of the match regular, and everybody's saying, oh, what a good player Alfie is, then the board would have been under pressure. But because the way it's petered out, people are saying, shake on, see you later, all the best.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it, Ox, and that's exactly what's happened. Because I think I know Alfie still has a strong, connection with a lot of the fan base and the younger fans, and I totally understand that. I mean, I love him. I don't want to come across, sour grapes in any way towards Alfie. I thought what he done for us was absolutely fantastic. Rated him highly, but I totally agree with what you've just said there, Ox. That's exactly what's happened, and that's what's transpired. That it has made the whole thing easy. Because if he had been sitting on 23 or 24 goals for the season, and what happened has happened this season, and he's kind of fallen out of love with a wee bit of us and maybe a wee bit of the city, then the board would have been under tremendous amount of pressure. We would probably be having a different conversation on here tonight saying, aye, let's get rid of Kent and give Alfie the 45k a week. I mean, not that would ever happen, because I don't think we're at that. I just don't think our wage structure is anywhere close to that, Ox. And I think the minute you do that, it's it's like opening the traps up at the Dugs. It would be every man in his dug would be at the manager's door, and it would cause merry hell in the dressing room. And you have to always balance that and be careful, with the expectations and the players and their contracts, because there's a lot of money swirling about in there, and there's a lot of ego swirling about. But in the case of Alfie, Gary made a good point. It probably is for his own benefit, for his hunger benefit. It probably is the right time, Ox, that he moves on and he goes to pastures new. And I wish Alfie nothing but the best. I love the wee guy to bits, but maybe for his challenge and his career and his financial state, it's a short career for these guys. He's only got one contract left in him, Ox. One decent contract left in him. I mean, what is he, 26 stroke, going on 27 now?
Tell you exactly what age he is, mate. Just give me 1 second. But I'd be interested to see how it pans out. I do think the board have became easy for them relatively because he's for them. But we'll ask you, if you're out there, anybody thinks, would you keep Alfredo Morelos? Would you give him a new contract? Join us in 0141 356 1972. It's simple. Keep or go. What are you thinking, GB?
Oh, it's a big go. It's got to be a big go for me. I've never been an overly big fan of Alfredo. I've liked his goals. I've liked the attitude at times, but I've never seen him as a. It sounds harsh, as a team player. I've always seen him as Mr. Individual for some reason, and I just think he could have done a lot better in his time at Rangers, especially in the league, especially against Celtic. I mean, his record against Celtic, I don't think is brilliant for a Rangers striker, to be honest. And the way the past 2 seasons, I would say, has went with Alfie, I think we've been carrying him. I think as much as he's contributed in that European run and stuff like that, I just think he's just been ticking by. And to be honest, that's why I'm thinking it's best for both parties that we move on. And for us, we need to reinvest that money. We need to find somebody that's going to compete with Cholak up front. And like I say, Roof's going to be there possibly for another year in the background. So again, we just need freshness up there. And again, for Alfie, I hope he goes. If it is Seville he's going to, I hope he goes earlier and he shows us all the quality that we know that he's got. I mean, I think it'll be a great league for him. I think it's going to be open football, and if he can build up his pace and get fit, I think he will do damage there.
He's not building up his pace now. He's 27 in June, Jaffa. 27 in June.
27 in June. So he's got one 3/4 year contract left in him at decent money before the big 3 comes, and his age, and as Scotty Arfield put it very very well, that's when the phone stops ringing when you turn 30 as a footballer. And it's true, it is. I've heard a few of them say that over the years, and that's when the phone stops ringing, when the contracts and agents are not really that bothered for you anymore, because they're looking after the 21 and the 22-year-olds. And going back to Gary's point, I definitely think we can. Michael Beale, I would entrust him with that wage packet to go and get us possibly 2 decent centre forwards. If we can pick Alfie up in Finland, there's plenty of markets out there to go and look in. And it's up to Mike. That's Michael Beale's job to go and find that or know of it. if it's lurking about in the lower leagues of England, or if it's lurking about in an English academy, and he can go and tap into it. Michael Beale was credited for a lot of what the Calvin Bassey stuff, and he knew of him. He was involved and was aware of the guy and had come across him at Liverpool when he was in Liverpool under 18s. So if that's Michael Beale's eyes, I entrust him with that money to go and invest that in the pool of players. And I suspect that's part of the whole rebuild, Ox. I don't think if Alfie signs a new contract with us, I'll be astonished if that happened.
Oh, it's 1 each now. 1 each. So that'll go to extra time, so we might not catch the draw if it stays like that. Yeah. Bridgeman, I'm a bit different for GB. I wish you all the best, and you go somewhere else after you left the club. I really couldn't care less. Once ago, no.
Yeah, there's that. I would probably start to actually follow his career because I like the guy. I know, as Jabba was saying, he's a bit of a loner, but most good strikers are. They're only in the game for themselves, and the second thought in their mind is for the rest of the team. So how can I do this? I want to score as many goals as I can for myself and the team, and I want the team to make me great because they'll give me the ball to score. But you can't go about petty lip stuff. You can't do it. And I think Alfie, if Alfie gets another contract with the Rangers, I think it'll be a miracle for him. I really do. But if he goes away, I'd find out what team he was going to. Let's say it was Sevilla. I would actually watch Sevilla just to watch him play because I think he's a smashing player, and I feel really sorry for him. I'm very sympathetic, not to his cause, but very sympathetic to the way and what the way he's doing it and what it is he's doing to himself. That is not the same Alfredo Morelos that we're seeing now, getting 5 minutes in a game, 10 minutes in a game, and when he's on, can't do nothing when he's on. Irrespective of who he's playing against, it's just not there. It is not the same Alfredo for some reason or other. Whether he needs a full game, I don't know.
What you might learn, Jaffer, is that if you take your foot off the gas and it goes, you can't get it back, mate.
Aye, and he won't be the first professional footballer that's done that. That thinks you've got the formula and you've nailed it. At Disney football's not like that, Ox, because the game's getting faster all the time, and the young team that are coming into the dressing room are they've got a yard on you before you even got onto the pitch. And incidentally, if he did get a move to Spain, I mean, if he can't get himself fit in Scotland, he's my word. That's why I'm saying, Ox, I would be staggered to believe that he's getting strong money over in Spain. I think I've read a couple of conflicting reports that it's a bit of agent talk, and we know agents do that kind of stuff, to try and stoke the fire and get a bit of interest in him. I'm not so sure, Ox, that he will end up in Spain. I think he'll get a contract, but I don't think he personally, if I'm being very, very honest, I don't think he's good enough to play in the Spanish First Division.
I think he was.
He was, yes. I agree with that. The Alfredo, as Bridge alluded to 2 years ago, when he was at his peak powers, I think he was. The Alfredo the now and the Alfredo that's been around for the past 12 months, 14 months, I don't think he would get a game in the Spanish league.
Aye. It's sad when relationships come to an end, GB.
It is, Ox, especially in love and war, mate. But like I says, I think it's just it probably came to an end when I see the season that last season when Gerrard left. I think that's when Alfie was kind of on his way a wee bit. I think there was a lot of hype running about him getting the move to Nice, and I think what was the other team? There was another team he was linked with as well at the time. And I just think, like I says, I think at that time he was probably happy to go. But Gerrard's obviously turned around and said that he wanted to keep him and keep going for the following season for the Champions League and stuff like that. I think like the relationship between the two of them now, especially with the way he's been dropped now, the manager's now asking him to do more in training. That tells me that Alfredo's not doing enough in training to get his start in front of Čolak. So I think it's only gone one way now. And that's how I says it. I just see it as best for both parties that we move on. And for what Michael Beale's saying, Knox, and I'm really interested to see this striker that he's been talking about, that he's keeping tabs on, and he's keeping it close to his chest. He's not wanting anybody to know about it. I'm desperate to get to the summer to find out what kind of striker we're bringing in, because we've got Čolak, we know what he does. We've got Roof, we know what he does. But the way the manager's speaking, this new striker that he's trying to bring in, it's got to be something totally different, even for Alfie, I think. Because if he wanted somebody like Alfie, I would imagine he'd be wanting to keep a hold of Alfie. And I think, Alexis, I'm really interested to see how this team's got to look, because he keeps saying this, he keeps throwing me carrots in, saying the team's got to look very different, and this striker I'm keeping tabs on is a very different striker, and I don't want anybody knowing about him and all that. It's got to be really interesting, and like I says, it's actually doing my head in that I don't know who this new striker's got to be.
Well, you'll know, will you? Because they missed it. They kind of end about it to the window opens.
I know, but what kind of path do you think he'll go down, Ox? What do you think we're missing up front? Do you think we're going to go like for a like a Sterling kind of striker, or do you think we're going to go down the route of the old way? That's the big 6 foot guy in the box. It's got to deal with the set plays and stuff like that. What do you think we're going to
put it this way? You mentioned 3 players there: Morelos, Čolak, and Roof. Mm-hmm. If you had the strength of Fredo, the guile of Kemar Roof, and the finishing of Čolak, that would do for me, Jaffa.
Oh, I'd be worth about £40 million. And that's true. That's a great way of putting it, as far as the individual qualities that those players have. I mean, I think we can all agree that Alfie's probably the weakest part of his game is probably his finishing. Because when he done the split second stuff, he was very good at it. And Čolak's come into the team, and Čolak can bang the ball in the pokey. I mean, I know. The game on Wednesday night against Hibs is past, Ox, but I haven't been on the show since then. But for me, the best goal of the game was the toe poke, his second goal, the 4th goal. I mean, nobody expected him in that box to do that. Nobody expected him. And he knew that the only way that he could get his foot to that ball was to toe poke it into the bottom corner. And the goalie was flat-footed. The goalie couldn't even move. He just toe poked it into the corner, and the ball's in the back of the net. As far as the qualities of the 3 individuals, and Kemar Roof's got the X factor, hasn't he? Yeah, Kemar Roof does stuff with the ball, and it's instinct and split second. One of the best goals I've ever seen Kemar Roof score in any. A brilliant Rangers goal was the goal he put into the net with his chest. I think it was during the 55 season, Ox, when the ball came across the goal, and he just kneeled down and knocked the ball into the goal with his chest. And that's a goal. That's a goal that came out that Alfredo Morelos would never have scored. Never have scored it.
That was the best move ever. What's his name? Gets sent off, and we scored a goal. Their captain, forgot his name. It's funny that how I don't remember their name.
Gregor.
No, that's the one. Who's taking Robin? GB, stop Robin. Right, aye, that was a fantastic striker's goal, mate. There's no many players could have done that, Jaffa.
No, it was pure, like 110% instinct. It was just, he knew he was going to do it. But that's what I mean. That's a striker's instinct. And I don't think Alfie has that kind of finishing in his locker, Ox. But what he does, and I agree with everything that Bridge said, and I totally concur with what Bridge was saying. Alfredo Morelos can single-handedly ragdoll a back four, and I've never seen a Rangers player do that. I've never saw what Alfie could do with Dortmund that night, with like absolutely top-class German international footballers at Ibrox, when he just was the guy that was bouncing off him. He didn't know he couldn't get into the left of him. He couldn't get near the right of him. He was brilliant, and Alfie he stands out in that, and always will. I mean, I've seen some great strikers in my time at Ibrox, Ox, like the rest of us. You know, when Big Haley was in the top of his game, I mean, Big Haley was an absolute animal of a striker. The way he headed the ball and the way he attacked the ball, and there was not a player probably in Europe at that time, after we signed him for Monaco, that could do that. He was brilliant. McCoy, you could talk about McCoy all day long. McCoy scored every kind of goal you can think of, and he'd done it in a over such a span and the regularity. But I mean, good strikers nowadays, Ox, are even harder to find. Good strikers are even harder to find, which is why I think it'll be more of I suspect Michael Beale's got his eye on somebody in an academy. It's going to be a younger type of player, and it might mean a couple of those guys that he can develop and work with to bring them on. They might be raw just now, and I think that's the kind of player that Rangers will try and bring into.
You've got a lot of flack, mate, if that's the case, because he made a big statement. We're bringing in first teamers, no fillers or projects, mate.
That's true. He did say that, Ox. That was at that transfer window, wasn't it? That was his words that he used.
Yeah, I've no problem with him signing that kind of player, Jaffa, but I think we need sometimes to have ready-made players brought in. Yeah, we're paying enough buck for them. Yeah, we're not.
Absolutely, Ox. I mean, I know we're not paying EPL, and we're never going to pay the kind of money the guys get down there. I understand that, but listen, look, there's plenty of strikers all over Europe that are not on EPL salaries, Ox, and you've just got to go out and find them. You know, whether you look in the Nordic countries, or whether you look in Romania, or whether you're looking in Budapest, or whether you're going even further afield, and you're going into the African market. There's brilliant strikers out there. And that's the trick of the trade nowadays, isn't it? It's getting the recruitment right, because that's a big debate for us all as Rangers fans. I think we all agree that the recruitment has been poor. Under Gio, it was poor. Let's not dress it up any other way, Ox. We spent a lot of money during the close season. I'm just to correct myself there. I'm not saying that the players, all the players we signed in the close season were poor. I'm not saying that. I know injuries have played a big part. But, going back to the last January window when we brought 5 players in, 4 of them were on loans. It's a complete waste of time, that, and it doesn't get the club anywhere, and it doesn't get the, it holds you back. And I think that's been proven. That's what's happened this year, because you've not got any players in your team. After 6 months of the year, they walk out your club and away they go. What does the club get out of it, apart from paying big, fat, handsome salaries?
Well, I'm all right with that if it's try before you buy, Jaffa.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, the Tillman one looks, and on the surface of it, has been the best one, and even the James Sands. We've tried it and it didn't work, but we've returned James to his club, and for want of a better reason, we can debate about James Sands, whether he got a chance or whether he didn't get an opportunity, but it didn't work out. Whereas the Malik Tillman story is still unfolding in front of us, and I think we're all in agreement, most of the Rangers fans that I've spoken to and on this show as well. I think we all think Malik Tillman's a player, don't we?
We do, but how do you get him and Cantwell on the same team?
I'll leave that to Michael Beale.
Silence says
I would play Tillman just in front of Cantwell.
Where?
Cantwell playing in the midfield, just like he was playing last night. And just play him in front of him, 5 yards in front of Cantwell. But Cantwell will get a lot of the ball, push it up to him. Only your 20-yard passes, but they'll no catch it. Actually, we were going to play the two together. Sorry.
Yes, mate.
I think you found the position for where Tillman goes the other night when you're talking about Hibs. I was listening to the show and you were talking about how at times Fashion was right close with Cholak up front. It was as if it was like the two of them were playing up like a two. I think Tillman beside Cholak would be outstanding. See if they could find a way that they could put Tillman close to Cholak to feed him. And we can have Kent doing that kind of free role. I know Tillman's not really the runner, the same as Fashion. That's how it's going to be, probably maybe horses for courses. But I think Tillman is a 10 next to Cholak. I think that's the way to play him. And then you've still got Cantwell on the team.
I don't disagree, but it doesn't look as if we're ever going to play with two up front when you play a 10. You know, we don't.
Aye. But maybe this is what now he said. He drops the wee carrots in. We're trying something in we're doing different things in training and all that, and then you're like, what are you doing? Like, obviously he touched on a wee bit with the passing movement of the Hibs and stuff like that, but I wonder if he has got to try that. I wonder if he's got to try and get a two up front. You know what I mean? And maybe it will start looking more like a kind of a 4-4-2.
No, it'd be interesting to see what happens. Interesting to see what happens with Tillman. I don't deny the boy's got potential. Good player.
I think it'd be really good next to Cholak. I think the two of them would complement each other really well. So I just think with the way Tillman's feet is, he's got that kind of way that he would slide the ball to Cholak, and Cholak again one touch finishes. I think that's where we could be really, really dangerous.
I just don't see why you get him and Cantwell on the same with the setup and the way we play, Jaffa. Yeah.
Not with the 4-2-3-1 formation, Ox. I mean, look, I know the 4-2-3-1 is no rigid, and I get that there's a lot of there's a lot of fluidity about it. But when it works well, especially if it's a team like we played Hibs last week there during the week that want to come at you and you're on their patch, the 4-2-3-1 is absolutely perfect, especially with the personnel we've got. Cantwell had a great game during the week. Tillman, and I've heard in particular a caller that phones into the show quite regularly, Ox, Alex Wisher, who I think at the very start of the season when Tillman had joined us and we were trying to play him in the middle of the park, or Gio was trying to play him in the middle of the park, had said that was never. It was a guy I think he spoke to. I think I remember the story correctly. A chap was sitting next to him and had followed German football, and had said that Malik Tillman is not a number. He's not a midfielder. He's a number 10, and he plays right behind the striker. That's his best position. And if that's where we end up playing Malik Tillman, then it would be good to see him in that position, wouldn't it?
I don't disagree, mate. I don't disagree, but let the boy just find his way. Yeah, he's still really young and all. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a great point. I mean, what is he, 20, 21?
Aye, tops 21. I think it was 20 came this. But in injury, extra time now, and it's 2-1 to Falkirk. So we might have a draw before.
Oh, damn.
We might have a draw before we go off there. You never know, Jaffa. You never know.
Oh, we've got plenty of time, yeah.
Obviously, everybody must be following that game. The Rangers supporters want to phone in, give their thoughts on the game. Sunday must have been a classic, GB.
I think we've detailed it to death, near enough, and I think that's how the callers are. They've not got much else to really add to it, mate. But hopefully they have. Hopefully, like what we've talked about, Alfie and the Tillman thing as well. That's a really interesting debate. How if we get Tillman, how we keep him in that team, because again, that boy's turning up to warm a bench, especially leaving a place like Dortmund and Bayern, and again, Cantwell, he's starting to cement his place in the team with the performances he's putting in. So it's got to be really interesting. You touched on something there, Ox, about the age of them and that. Could that mean that the summer window is really important, that we actually add a wee bit of an older age group into the team rather than going back down the route of mere 21-year-olds and stuff like that? Do you think we need to really add a bit of experience into the team if we're going to go looking for for what the manager's saying, a striker, a midfielder and a defender?
I think we need players around about Cantwell's age, 24, 25, yeah. I think there's a big difference between these guys and maybe a guy starting out at 21. I'm not saying I'm going to sign 21-year-olds, but you've got different kinds of stages of their career. You know, some of them will explode onto the scene, they'll be great, but they're the piece, they need a bit of guidance, Bridget.
Yeah, can I just ask a question about it? Does anybody know if Tillman's actually carrying a wee injury?
Yeah, he obviously, you missed the manager's press conference, didn't you?
I missed him talking about Tillman, yes.
After his knock, yeah.
Say that. Could you say that again, please?
He'll be back at the weekend after his knock.
So that's brilliant. I knew there must have been something because nobody's even been arguing about it. You know, Tillman should be in, blah blah blah. I just wanted to know that, so I just didn't know. Apologies.
That's all right. That's all right. Right. Ryan Kent. We've talked about Morelos. Ryan Kent, Jaffa. He's shown an attitude. Listen, he wasn't fantastic yesterday. Nobody was, you know. He didn't stop plugging away without a lot of success. But the game he had at Easter Road, he showed an attitude that shows me he's somebody that there's a relationship between him and Beale that's improved his form. Whether that means he'll stay, I think it's going to be good for both parties, Jaffa. Oh, come off a mute, Jaffa. Press the mute button. Come on. GB.
Sorry, mate. Sorry.
That's all right. Carry on, mate.
I was just saying there. I think it's a great point you make about Ryan Kent, and in contrast to the Alfie situation, Ryan showed a great attitude and a great professionalism since Michael Beale has come in. I can't deny that he's turned up in a lot of games, Ox, a lot of games, and he just keeps trying. You can't take that away from Ryan Kent. Like you said, he wasn't the best player yesterday, but he kept at it. He kept plugging away. He kept joining up. He kept asking for the ball. There was a want about him. He was still wanting the ball. He was still contributing, and he has done in every time he's been asked to play. And I think that goes a long way. It says a lot about Ryan Kent. I don't know whether it means or what it means long term, Ox. I don't know if Ryan still fancies staying at Rangers. I don't know. None of us know. Michael Beale, I take it, probably does know. He said on a couple of occasions, he's alluded to it, he'd like to keep him. I don't know if there's a contract. Michael Beale said that isn't the case because there's been nothing put on the table to any player. I think it was after the Hibs game, was it the comment he said was above his head, or was it the press conference for the game at the weekend? So I don't know what to take out of that. I mean, Ryan Kent, I don't know, Ox, if we want to keep him at Ibrox, if it's going to mean a big fat pay packet. I don't know what Ryan Kent's wages are. I'm not sure. If Ryan wants to stay at Ibrox, I would welcome him with open arms. I still think there's a player in there, and that might be what's going on in the guy's head. He's out of contract. You don't know what's going on in the background, Ox. None of us do. We don't know if there's MD Champion's door. Is it the right team? Is it the wrong team? Who knows? Does Ryan Kent move to the EPL? I mean, if an EPL club comes from, I guess Ryan Kent will be off ski, won't he?
He's a strange character, Ryan Kent. I just think he'll make up his own mind. I don't know if it'll necessarily be based in finance. There you go. But we'll see. GB, thoughts?
It divides opinion, Ryan, especially this season where he's came back into some form. I don't know, Ox. I think I'm like you. You never really see Ryan in the press. We've not really heard pure stories flying about with him signing any pre-contracts or agent stories like the way Alfie brings the press and stuff like that. So Ryan's got to be a funny one. if he stays, I'm not going to be too bothered in a sense because I'll be happy either way. But and again, if he leaves, I'll not be too fussed because I think we're starting to see that we've got players there that could probably fill Ryan Kent's position, which might make it easier for the manager, as we've talked about, trying to fit in the likes of a Tillman and a Cantwell into a team. It might free up the manager to go looking in the market to fill that Ryan Kent position if Ryan does leave. And again, that gives us an opportunity to freshen the team again. So if Ryan does sign a contract, though, Ox, I think we need to try and get his numbers up. We need to try and, as much as he does a lot to run about and he works hard and stuff like that, there needs to be more. We need to get that Ryan Kent back that first turned up to Rangers the first 2 seasons. It was contributing with goals. That 55 season, contributing with assists a lot. We need to try and get some of that back, William, because...
And I just cut across you, Wayne. It's a repeat of last year's Scottish Cup semi-final.
Oh, we got them then, have we?
A repeat of last year's Scottish Cup semi-final. Yeah.
Thoughts, Ox? What's your thoughts, Ox?
Yeah, don't mind when we play them, mate. I think if we go, we play, get the selection right, people fit, and we play, we win. I know that sounds flippant when I say it, mate. If we play, we'll beat them. But the trouble is, we've let ourselves down too often against them. Jaffa.
Yeah, similar thoughts, Ox. You know, I maintain that as well. I absolutely 100% believe that. I think man for man, we're a better team than them, but we've got to. The attitude is our fitness combination of both. Maybe in that last game, I think I will still wrangle with a lot of us. Can we play better? Absolutely. So you know, if we've got them in the semi-final, I'm happy with that. I'll bring them on. I'm quite happy to beat them anytime at all.
Your thoughts, GB?
I think it's good. It's good for the cup box because that means that kind of 2 lesser teams are going to be playing it out for the final to get to the final. So as a cup spectacle, it's going to be good that we've met them in the semi-final. So it's going to be winner takes all for me. I think if we beat them, then what I say is we'll be probably heavy favourites to win it. So I bring it on and hopefully we being a semi-final, we're probably going to catch them at the right time because we've got players coming back, we've got players new. Hello.
We get drawn against them, or they get drawn against us, whichever. The first, shall we say, I get very nervous the very first 5 minutes of it because many years now we've had them. Can I just say that Rangers, now you've got your target, now you know what you need to do, and now you need to, every game from now on, every game is geared towards that. There's nothing else is there for you. Just go out, win every game. You're going to play them in the semi-final of the Cup. And you may have met them in the league twice before that. It doesn't matter.
I think, Bridge. I think we'll play them about 3 times in about 4 weeks, yeah? Yeah.
So we'll play them once in the league, then the semi-final, and then the semi-final, and then them again in the league. So that's very interesting. I know we could play. I've watched my team play in the last couple of weeks there and played some really nice football. And okay, we come up against a stubborn team. Celtic are going to sit with 8 men in the box, 10 men in the box.
No, we're not game of football anyway. We'll be joined by Alistair, evening Alistair. Oh, speaking of Alistair. Oh, he's not there. That'll grab all the headlines. Jaffa here.
Yeah. That's the highlight of the evening, Ox. I take it we've not got any dates released yet as to when that game will be. They normally take a wee while.
It'll be played the weekend. I think it's the 29th of April, mate. That weekend.
Right. Okay.
So I take it that game will be moved to the Sunday, I would imagine.
Yes. Aye.
Hello, Alistair.
How you getting on, guys? How's things?
Good to hear from you, mate. What's on your mind?
I've just got a quick kind of question to put in about you. You remember when Steven Gerrard came in and we had lost like maybe 9 or 10 games against Celtic, and I think what his philosophy was there, I don't think the players knew how to beat Celtic at that point. And Rangers found a way to beat and then become quite dominant over a wee while, through the 55 and things like that. I think it's got back to that stage now that I think, like say, Kent, I think we should move Kent on. I don't think we're going to get any better for Kent. I think we've seen our best for Kent. I think we should move Kent on. I think we should move Morelos on. And I think we need to bring fresh meat in that have not got an agenda. Okay, I mean, that they're going to be going for it to the start. Oh, I might not do that because he'll do this. Okay, I mean, or he'll do that. I think we need new players in, fresh players. Obviously, there's going to need to be a balance, obviously, for experience. But I think for Rangers going forward, I think Michael Beale said on a chat, I kind of seen it on the telly, that he said that, look, basically he's telling us that Morelos was going. He'd been here too long. Okay, I mean, he's not got to change his attitude in 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever's left of the season, 5 weeks. And I feel that more or less he's kind of a wee bit easier in Kent because Kent's like that way. You can keep him, but you can't keep him. But I just think we should go out and find a better player. I think Kent's become predictable, guys. And I don't know if you agree with me there, but I think he's very predictable and very easy to mark because you can't always get idea all the time.
I think the biggest problem with Ryan Kent, if I'm being truly honest, his numbers aren't good enough.
No, they're definitely not.
Yeah, if you had half a dozen more goals and another half a dozen assists.
And I think Cantwell could be going that way too. I just hope Cantwell doesn't go that way, guys.
Well, he's just started it. Let's give him a chance. Let's give him a chance.
But what I'm saying is, I just hope he doesn't. He's not got to be. He's got to look the flashy player because Beale said the other day there that he wanted him to get to the box. He wanted him to daymare. He wanted to get his numbers up. He looks good in the ball. Okay, I mean, he can set up the goal. But that's what we want. We need more of that, more of that, and more of that.
Right, so let's give Cantwell a chance. He's just started his Rangers career, Jaffa.
Aye, I mean, I still think even the real Todd Cantwell, Alistair, I don't think we've got the. Well, I know he's played a handful of games for us, but I don't think Todd Cantwell's fit, 100% fit. I don't think he's even close to it, which I think is good for the moving forward. But I think Todd Cantwell will work out. I really like the look of Todd Cantwell. I think in particular. Well, they're only played on Sunday rather, right at the front of that diamond or out right.
Sorry for butting in, but I think Bill's got to go into a 3-5-2 next season. I really do.
Possibly.
I think he is, and I think if Suter, there's something he likes Suter, and I think he's going to go with, like you said, he was throwing hints in there. Get what I mean? And I really think if where does Cantwell fit in that Rangers team if Rangers play a 3-5-2? I just can't see him fitting at that Rangers team. I really can't, because you've got Lawrence to come back and who else is signed. I just think Cantwell could become, I don't know, because you've got Sakala, you've got these players. I'd play Sakala every week, the new at the squad. Okay, I mean, so I just kind of picture when everybody's fit and everybody's playing, where these players, because you've got Raskin and Jack, that's going to be your two midfielders. Then you'll also hear somebody like Kent, but if Kent's not there, you hear another player in there. Where's Cantwell going to fit in? You'll hear your two strikers or your one striker. I just don't know where are these players they're going to go, mate? Ken Hadji. Ken, these are all similar players. Do you punt Hadji out on loan or do you get rid of them?
Well, there could be a bit of movement. Well, thanks for the call, Alistair. Pretty didn't
Thank you very much.
But we've reached that time of the evening.
Mate, I just get back home, mate, and I thought, oh no, I like to phone in, guys. Get what I mean?
Cheers, mate. Good to speak to you.
No problem. Thank you very much, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers, Alistair.
GB, last word.
Aye, Ox, thanks for having us on. Couple of good debates tonight, especially the Alfie and the Tillman debate. That was really good, mate. Sparked the conversation, bud. Thanks to Bridge and Jaffa for helping me along tonight and let me understand the old chat. And like I says, onwards to the next game.
Jaffa.
Yep, thanks for having me on, Ox. Always a pleasure to be on Rangers Radio. Nice to be on with the boys, with Bridge and GB. Thanks to yourself for inviting me on, and let's all keep it going for the Rangers, eh?
Yeah, the one and only Bridge, man.
What can I say? Wonderful night tonight, Oxtair. Fantastic. Big thanks to yourself, and of course your technical divas in the background. They're looking after everything. And big thanks to GB and Jaffa, old South African buddy. Can I just say this to all the Rangers fans all over the world, and particularly Rangers fans on here and Rangers Radio? Massive games coming up for us. Everybody keep it going for the Rangers, because the Rangers really need us, and so do they. Keep it going.
Yeah. It's just got exciting. Thanks to Alistair. Thanks to GB, Jaffa and Bridge, man. Thanks to Fox for doing the technicals. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night talking about all things Rangers. Take it away, Fox. Bye.
We are the Rangers FC. We are the people, you better believe. We are together, we're doing the bouncy all over the world. We had our troubles, but now they are gone. They tried to kill us, but the Bears we stood strong. We are together, doing the bouncy all over the world. Lucia Vibrox for Lancer 3. Follow, and God save the Queen. You'll hear us singing, doing the bouncy all over the world. In Barcelona in 72, we beat the Russians, but 3-2. Still celebrating, doing the bouncy all over the world. Glasgow Rangers are back where we belong. Blue sea of Ibrox, and we're still going strong. We wear our colours, the red, white and blue. We wear them proudly like blue noses do. We are together, doing the bouncy all over the world. The pride of Scotland, but that's nothing new. The pride of Glasgow, and Glasgow is blue. We are together, doing the bouncy all over the world. To be a blue nose, it fills us with pride. We are united, we'll never divide. We are together, doing the bouncy all over the world. Doing the bouncy all over the world. Doing the bouncy all over the world.